Hello, today I'd like to tell you the story of Everlong, which is my favorite Foo Fighters song. It's the second single off the band's sophomore album, The Color and the Shape. Both the US Billboard Alternative Songs and the Canadian RPM Rock and Alternative chart placed the song at number 3. It's still one of their most recognizable songs to this day. Dave Grohl largely worked alone to create the debut Foo Fighters album in 1995, after the unexpected demise of Nirvana. Its release received high praise, but it was the sophomore album that followed, The Color and the Shape, that is widely considered to be a masterpiece. Released in 1997, it would go on to feature some of the most memorable tracks ever written by the band. Although the first Foo Fighters album is more like a Dave Grohl solo project, The Color and the Shape is more obviously a band-driven effort, with contributions now coming in from all of Dave's bandmates. Among the album's tracks, Everlong is easily one of the most emotionally resonant. It stands out amongst other rock songs of the time as feeling very urgent and full of longing. The song cemented Dave Grohl as a songwriter who was more than capable of competing with his late Nirvana bandmate Kurt Cobain. Dave recorded the album after his split from Jennifer Youngblood, his first wife. Even though Dave was having a rough time, he had recently begun dating the lead singer of the band Veruca Salt, Louise Post. She was the impetus for Everlong's creation. Dave spent some time in late 1996 at Bear Creek Studios in Woodinville, Washington, working on what would become the band's second studio album. While waiting for the next take of the Drop D tune song Monkey Wrench, he was messing around with his guitar and came up with a riff he called a Sonic Youth ripoff, since it reminded him of their song Schizophrenia. Because he liked it so much, he wanted to turn it into a proper song. The band jammed on the riff that would become the verse, and eventually he even brought the song to Sonic Youth's Thurston Moore, who gave him the go-ahead to continue to develop the song. By the time those sessions were over, the song had not advanced beyond this rough form, and Grohl promptly returned to his home state of Virginia around the holiday season. He was sleeping on the floor of a friend's house in a dog pee-stained sleeping bag at this time. It was during this stay that, in just a short 45 minutes, he was actually able to complete the song with full lyrics. Dave says, "That song is about a girl I'd fallen in love with, and it was basically about being connected to someone so much that not only do you love them physically and spiritually, but when you sing along with them, you harmonize perfectly." After that, Grohl went to a friend's studio in Washington, D.C. and recorded a demo of the song. He performed every instrument on the demo, which he says is quite similar to the album version, but, quote, super raw. After finishing his East Coast tour, Grohl flew back to the West Coast to finish working on the album. In another visit to Grandmaster Recorders in Hollywood, he performed the Everlong demo for producer Gil Norton. The song really impressed Norton. A short time later, Grohl and Norton were joined by Nate Mendel and Pat Smear, and the trio went into the recording studio to lay down their version of the song. The solo guitar introduction was recorded with a, quote, dull and no clarity astatic JT40 microphone. Grohl was really hoping to get Louise to sing backups and harmonies for the recording, but she was in Chicago at the time. To solve this problem, 2 phone lines were used for recording long distance, one for her monitor and the other for recording her vocal parts. She can be heard singing the do-do-do parts, along with the main guitar riff and harmonizing with Dave on the chorus. Grohl also used JT40 to capture harmonies of the band's backing vocals, achieving sound quality on par with that of Post. One of the most interesting and mysterious aspects of the entire song is the soft-spoken mumbled parts that are just barely audible over the guitar towards the end of the song. Many people have wondered what words are actually being said here, and luckily, with the advent of Rock Band, we now have a good idea of what was recorded. So Grohl had produced 3 spoken word tracks for the breakdown, one of which told the narrative of assistant engineer Ryan Bosch's youth and how he was chastised by his father for disrupting his sleep. There were also 2 others, which were just Grohl reading random excerpts from a book. Originally, all 3 tracks were going to be mixed together, but in the end, just the first one was used. So, what exactly are the words being read there? Many people have dissected the individual multi-tracks of Everlong when it was featured as a playable track on the music-oriented video game Rock Band 2, and the muttering appears to be as follows. So Dad would take the Sundays off, and that's the only time he could ever get any rest, and so because we were loud on Sundays, he'd make us hold his construction boots over our head till he'd sleep, and they were really heavy boots, and I'd say, "Dad, come on please," and start crying because they're too heavy. There's a consensus that Everlong is one of the Foo Fighters' finest works. The song peaked at number 1 on Kerrang's list of the 20 best Foo Fighters songs in 2020, and at number 2 on American Songwriter's list of the 10 best Foo Fighters songs in 2021. Michel Gondry directed the surreal music video for the song. It mocks the style and tone of the classic horror flick The Evil Dead. The video's soundtrack is a more extended version of the music than that was released as a single or on the album. And if you haven't seen the video by now, I highly recommend you check it out. It begins with the black and white footage of Smear and Mendel dressed up like greaser teddy boys. Grohl is actually Sid Vicious in his dream, and Hawkins is Nancy Spungen. It's a thoroughly entertaining experience with lots of pop culture references strewn throughout. Despite the fact that Hawkins plays drums in the video, Grohl was really the drummer on the track since Hawkins had not yet joined the band at the time of the recording. Over the past 25 years, the song has grown exponentially in scope and popularity. At the 1998 MTV Video Music Awards, Everlong was up for Best Rock Video, and the video surpassed 200 million views on YouTube on May 11, 2021. Dave Grohl's acoustic solo version of the song has also become very popular after an unexpected performance on the Howard Stern radio show in 1998, even though the song is typically performed with distorted electric guitars. Since then, the band has performed the song acoustically, and an acoustic version of the song serves as the final track on their live CD and DVD from 2006 titled Skin and Bones. In addition, an acoustic rendition of the song appeared on the Greatest Hits album that the Foo Fighters issued in 2009. During his recovery from heart surgery in 2000, late-night talk show host and comedian David Letterman said that Everlong was his favorite song and that it was helping him with his recovery. So on the first edition of Late Show with David Letterman after his surgery, broadcast on February 21, 2000, the Foo Fighters were invited to serve as a musical act to play Everlong. The news that Letterman enjoyed the song blew me away, said Grohl. The band even postponed a South American tour date because they believed it was more important to play the TV performance. Dave also stated in an interview, "We just felt like we had to be there. Not only was it an honor to be asked, but it felt like something we had to do, because he had always meant so much to us, and that started this connection that we've had for years. It's really cool, you know?" In a serendipitous farewell to the former late-night host, the final episode of Letterman's show aired on May 20th, 2015, and featured the band playing Everlong once more. A compilation of clips from throughout Letterman's career played in the background during the 6-minute set. It made for a beautiful goodbye and a perfect performance to close out such a well-loved show. Taylor Hawkins played the live version of Everlong for the last time in March 22, before his untimely death that month. In the wake of his passing, the number of streams of the song skyrocketed, eventually landing it at number 123 on the Billboard Global 200, which was the band's first placement on that chart. Many people around the world mourned his passing. He was an incredible drummer and contributed a lot to modern rock music. May he rest in peace.